So we are back again guys sa panibagong episodes ng ating reaction na video. At ngayon ay nagbabalik ulit tayo dito kay Bizarre Bob. At ito ay pinamagatang Scary Comp V108. At ito ay in-upload kahapon lang, November 23, 2025, 2024 pa yung masasabi ko ngayon. Ngayon ay 24. At kung di ka pa nakasubscribe, ay mag-subscribe ka na at nandyan lang po yun sa may baba. So ano pa hanitin natin, let's for dado. Let's go na.
On November 14 of 2025, a small family rents out an Airbnb for a few days, unaware that they would encounter something very unsettling while staying there. They had booked the place in advance for an upcoming wedding that was out of town, so staying here made sense. But one night, after coming back from walking their dog, this happens.
We were just out walking my dog, and when we came in, we heard
Okay. Tama lang pala yung aking tinitingnan sa may taas ng hagdan.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, gabi na pala.
Somehow, the leash on her dog's collar suddenly jolts up in a quick motion before wrapping itself around her dog. It just flings up as if someone had chucked it upwards, but clearly, no one is seen on the stairs to have done that, which is very odd considering that just moments ago this was heard. Now Sydney, who recorded this video, was just as baffled as the Airbnb host who received this video from her. But this wouldn't be the only video she sends, because the next day, while placing the leash on the stairs to see if it would jump again, this is captured.
Okay, so this is the leash.
Sigurado ako, gagalaw yan.
There she goes again. I don't think the leash is gonna move, but she's definitely sensing something. Every single day.
Although the leash doesn't move this time, her dog goes ahead and does this. For some reason, it's at the same time the leash is on the steps that her dog begins to search for something. But like before, nothing appears to be there. Sydney even checks the rug to see if anything on or under it was making her dog behave this way. But still, nothing. However, there's something in this video that's worth pointing out, and it's a detail that appears in other videos that Sydney recorded of her dog. Watch closely.
So I wanted to show you guys some footage of my dog with these stairs. So here's another clip that I got of her doing it, walk over and see her, and she was so locked into this.
Now, if you didn't notice, in each video, Sydney's dog is always around a certain area of the stairs. It's always the middle or lower half of the steps, but never the top. If it wasn't for this detail, Sydney would not have realized this.
So
May something talaga dito sa may hagdan eh.
I think I figured out why my dog just is always hanging out right here. So I just found a door back here. So I don't think that it's what's on the stairs. I tried to check, but the door is locked.
Oh, diamond na naman oh, yung doorknob.
Obviously it's an Airbnb, so
Feeling ko sa Pilipinas ata wala yatang ganyan.
they lock a lot of the doors
Hindi lang ako sigurado.
up. Yeah, I don't think that it's what's on the stairs like what I initially thought. I think it's what's below.
Considering that the space is on the ground, it explains why her dog is never seen on top. She seems to be sensing something that's in this room. But the question is, what exactly is she sensing? Wanting to find out, Sydney and her sister probe around the space to see what it might be that's inside. But during this moment, while recording, they capture this.
So this is the switch. You guys can see their light is on right there. I wonder if...
Just imagine there's something right behind the door.
Oh my god.
Almost immediately after Sydney pulls out her phone, the doorknob suddenly turns.
Nagulat ako, gagi ka talaga.
Although no one was seen on the other side, the door handle moves as if held from the other end. Now Sydney was under the impression that a person had turned the knob, so they reach out to the Airbnb host and ask if anyone else is renting the place.
Sent the video to the landlord of the Airbnb, and hold on, let me turn asking like, hey, is there someone else renting it out as well as us or what? Because basically he was like, no, you guys are the only ones that are in the Airbnb right now, like booked out for the week.
After finding out that no one else is inside, Sydney concludes
Di ba kanina, ang tag dito, sinusubukan yung buksan yung pinto na yun pero hindi niya mabuksan.
that what happened that night wasn't a case of someone co-renting the house, but rather another paranormal occurrence. To her, this is much preferable over having a stranger inside the house. But despite being at ease now, knowing that it's not a person, the doorknob incident still baffles her. This is so, especially given that it still moves now and then.
Kakatok yan.
Yeah. Scary. Okay. Okay, every time we've knocked before, this doorknob would turn a little bit.
What? Paano nagkakasya yung cellphone niya dun? What? Uy! Gago. Nagulat ako. Holy shit. Oh my god.
As it turns out, this room was actually a basement. Out of nowhere, the phone gets yanked inside before tumbling down the steps and landing on its face. But it's before it tumbles that something weird happens. If you didn't notice, the phone moves on its own again before falling down. But of course, the strangest part is when the phone somehow lifts itself. Neither Sydney nor the Airbnb host could explain this. It just rises up before falling back with no footsteps around to suggest that someone was there. It's no wonder why many see this as being paranormal. To Sydney and her sister, that's exactly the case. Whatever had been inside did not seem to like their intrusion. From the leash moving on its own to the phone being pulled inside, it currently remains unknown as to what exactly occurred here. But as with all videos, you be the judge on whether or not something supernatural took place. As always, let me know your thoughts on this one.
So, basement pala yun. Kanina ko pa gustong sabihin eh. Basement yun eh. Kaso, baka lang ako magkamali ng...
Now, the following video was recorded by a grandmother who lives alone with her dog and 2 cats. However, it appears that her pets aren't the only ones keeping her company, because according to her, there's something in her house that won't leave her alone.
В зеркале.
There was a reflection in the mirror of something not very incomprehensible.
Было
Hindi ko sure kung tama yung pagkakabasa ko dun.
отражение чего-то не очень непонятного. На видео. Я вам всем докажу.
According to Polina, last night she recorded a video of something that appeared in her bedroom. It showed up in the same spot where it often appears, around the mirror. She's been trying to get it on camera as her family believes it's nothing. They believe it's her old age that's making her see things. But after watching this video, they're not so sure now if that's the case. Take a look.
Уходи отсюда. Я тебя не боюсь. Уходи отсюда. Уходи из моего дома. Уходи. Я тебя не боюсь.
Ganda nung ano.
Уходи отсюда. Уходи отсюда. Я тебя не боюсь.
Uy!
Уходи.
Ganda ng bahay, no?
Уходи, я сказала. Уходи отсюда. Уходи. Я тебя не боюсь.
Oh, kala ko ba hindi ka tatakot? Bakit parang maantas ka?
After Polina realizes that what she'd seen wasn't there, she catches sight of this, a dangling ornament beneath the lamp, moving on its own. However, it wasn't just swaying back and forth as one would expect. It was curving upwards in a strange manner that neither a draft or wind current could cause. Now, whatever happened that night is something that remains uncertain. In either case, whether paranormal or not, just seeing this out of nowhere is unsettling. But one night, Polina decides to record again because apparently she saw the same figure hiding inside her fireplace. Take a look.
Parang may tao nga, no? Ay, oo nga, oh. Parang may tao talaga.
Like something out of a nightmare, what looks like a head suddenly appears in the fireplace. And the freakiest part is that it shows itself right when Polina starts to get close. It's as if whatever this was had realized she was approaching. Understandably, she was freaked out by this, but more so after going back to the space and seeing the fireplace
Ito.
is completely empty now. Like before, what she saw initially is now gone. Now currently, no new videos have been shared by Polina, whether supernatural or something else. These 2 clips are without a doubt pretty terrifying. Now the following video comes from
Naku. Ito na naman tayo sa may bata. Diyos ko, may marimar.
a young mother named Akina,
Ang
and ever
cute
since
naman.
having her first child, she's been posting numerous videos of her baby boy. It's her first child, so it makes sense that she would want to capture every moment involving her son Ponko. From the time he was born to the moment he got his first playpen, Akina has been sharing lots of memories involving Ponko on her page. However, not every moment has been shared online, and for good reason. On January 29th of 2024, at around 2:30 in the morning, Akina was dead asleep when she suddenly woke up to something in her bedroom. Thankfully, little Ponko was unaware of what was happening because during this moment, something pretty frightening happened. The following is what was caught. Take a look.
Ayun no. Nagsasara na naman no. Magsasara tapos magbubukas. What?
It's no wonder why Akina didn't want to share this video initially. Now, besides the fact that the door opens and closes all by itself, there's something Akina mentions that makes this whole video even more terrifying. According to her, at this moment, she had seen a figure standing at the doorway which looked a lot like her husband. But the weird part about this is that her husband had not come home from work yet. It was only a few hours before he came back, but strangely, to Akina, he was there, just staring at her from a distance. Now clearly, no one is there. However, if you listen closely to the audio, you can hear Akina's security alarm going off as though someone entered the house. It's for this reason she leaves the room to turn it off and to chase her husband, who was walking away at this point. But it's from this moment that things start to get creepier, because not long after, Akina acts strange. From standing motionless at the door to quickly coming in and sitting down in a rigid manner, it's almost as if Akina was someone else. But as it turns out, she was just scared.
May nakita siya. Kasi narinig ko siyang sumigaw eh.
Because after heading downstairs to see where her husband had gone, she saw that all the lights were still off and the door still locked. Her husband, as it seems, was not home yet. Freaked out, she heads back up and sits down while trying to figure out what just happened. If he wasn't home, then who was? She continues to replay this moment in her head despite occurring a while ago, but until it's figured out what happened, she'll continue to keep this video up on her page while sharing more videos of her son. For now, this occurrence remains a mystery. In this next video, a mother had recently shared a clip that freaked her out after noticing what was in it. One day, while looking at her security cameras, Adrian Dakota notices something inside her living room, but more specifically, around her child's playpen. She wasn't sure as to what she was seeing, so she zooms in and replays the video to check. It goes without saying, but what she saw continues to keep her up at night. Now, it's important to note that before this incident, Adrian had already been documenting strange things around her house, and for some reason, these occurrences had something to do with her children's toys.
Toy is going off again. Oh, ibig sabihin lagi itong nagbubukas ng kusa.
Now, it might be easy to write this off as being just a glitch or a toy that's starting to malfunction, but what's strange is that this was happening day after day, one toy turning on after another. And that's without mentioning that during this time, Adrian's daughter had an imaginary friend who she said was very tall. Now, keep this imaginary friend in mind, because this detail becomes important much later in the video she recently posted. The reason why she was so freaked out by the toys turning on was because prior to this, her daughter kept mentioning this imaginary friend. And apparently, this so-called friend would show up in places where her daughter said it was, usually inside the house, near the toys. Adrian was so frightened by this, but more so by this video, because according to her, while taking care of her second child in another room, something terrifying appears in her living room. This is what she caught.
May gagalaw dito. Sigurado ako. Sabi ko na eh. Ha? Ano yun?
To Adrian, it appears that someone or something peeks out from behind her baby's playpen. Thankfully, her child wasn't in there during this moment. But strangely, even though no baby was occupying it, the figure itself looks like one. Whether it's just pareidolia or not, it's obvious that something is there. Considering that a bowl just fell off the shelf with no apparent cause, Adrian can't help but wonder if whatever this was had been responsible for the other occurrences before. It is strange how each occurrence involves one of her children's things. Whether it's their toys or their small play enclosure, something unexplainable happens around them. This, of course, brings up the question, could this have been the supposed imaginary friend her daughter had previously mentioned? Or might this be something else entirely?
Baka naman na ano yun, aso.
Currently, and unfortunately, there is yet to be a definitive answer to this question.
Feeling ko aso to.
Now, the following video was submitted to me by Ariane B, who writes that she took this video during a school field trip to the
Ang creepy
Philippines.
ng ano.
It was 2010
loob.
when she recorded this, so understandably, the quality isn't that good. But despite being filmed on a cheap cell phone, she was able to capture something pretty noticeable on camera. And of
Baka ito yung mga ano pa, mga 2007 or 6 or 8. Ganun.
course, what she notices is pretty creepy.
Di ba ang cellphone nung 2008 hindi pa mga touch screen?
According to her, she was taking a tour of an old fortress where many soldiers had lost their lives. This fortress is known as Fort Mills, and the section of this fort that Ariane was touring is known as Battery Grubs, a section where both Filipino and American soldiers had sacrificed their lives while defending against invading forces in 1942. While touring Battery Grubs, Ariane captures this.
Oh! So, Pilipino pala to.
Now, it's been 15 years since this video was taken, and Ariane hadn't realized what was captured until rewatching this footage recently. On the upper level of this barrack, there appears to be something moving, but it doesn't look like a tourist who was just wandering. Rather, it looks like a moving blurb that disappears in an instant. Now, of course, given the camera's low quality, this might have just been a camera artifact, or in other words, a visual glitch. But it's worth noting that this only appears once throughout the entire video. Never again do we see anything like this afterward, suggesting that maybe this wasn't the camera acting up, but instead something that was actually there. As Ariane believes, this blurb was most likely the spirit of one of the soldiers who passed away during battle here. Perhaps this is them still living out the same scenario that played out during 1942, unaware that they're no longer alive. It's a sad thought, but nevertheless, this footage creeps out Ariane. So then, just what exactly was caught on camera at this fort? If you caught something creepy on camera, or if there's any ghost videos you'd like me to check out and include in the next compilation, you can send them over to scaryvideos444@gmail.com. That being said, let's get back to the video. Now, it's often the case that videos on the paranormal take place inside a home. It's usually the setting that makes small disturbances feel twice as scary, but the same can be said for any place where something that shouldn't occur happens. Such is the case in this next video, where a group of Philippine students had caught something on camera inside a
Na. Ulit. Anin. Parang may mali ata akong napakinggan dun ah. Ano
But the
ulit yan?
same can be said for any place where something that shouldn't occur happens. Such is the case in this next video, where a group of Philippine students had caught something on camera inside an empty
Oh, narinig nyo? Philippines sa Pilipinas.
restroom. But as you'll see, it definitely wasn't. Take a look. Out of nowhere, the sound of a child crying emanates from inside the restroom. But the thing is, they're nowhere to be seen. The only thing that is seen are the empty stalls where just moments ago, the door to one of them began to open on its own. But even without seeing this, the voice alone is pretty unnerving. It's enough to make anyone just run away. Now, very little info is available on this clip, but what was captured is just
Bakit parang may familiar sa akin yung mismong iyak na yun? Parang sound effect ata yun na.
one instance of something supernatural that occurred here. This school is said to be haunted. So then, was a ghost caught on camera, or had something else been captured?
Teka, parang napanggan ko na ata yung iyak na yun na.
Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.
So anyway, yun lang guys. I hopefully ay nag-enjoy kayo and ingat and God bless. See you in the next one, the video. Paalam.